yesterday to hear about the loss of 10 lives, mass shooting that occurred here in Monterey Park, our very own community, as well as those 10 individuals that are injured. First of all, I want to commend
We've been listening in to a press conference from officials there in Southern California, speaking to reporters about the mass shooting that left 10 people dead overnight. So many Americans waking up to news of yet another mass shooting in this country. Again, so far we've learned 10 people killed, 10 others were injured when a gunman opened fire at a ballroom dance studio in Monterey Park. That's just about 10 miles east of Los Angeles. Police at this point don't have much information, telling us very preliminary information. They know that there is a male suspect that they are looking for. They say an Asian male, but the police officials there saying that they have gotten different descriptions from witnesses, but they say that the gunman is still on the loose. For more now, let's bring in ABC's Matt Rivers, who joins us with the very latest from the scene of this shooting overnight. Matt, still so many questions.
More questions than answers at this point, no question about it. Not only from our perspective, the media's perspective, but we just heard in that press conference officials saying there is more that we don't know than we do know at this point. This is very, very early days in this investigation. Just looking at the fact that they still don't know, at least publicly, they're not saying who the suspect is. They may not have even identified this man yet. A very generic description given by the police. Certainly you would think they would put more specifics out there if they had it, if only to get the public's assistance in trying to bring this suspect into their custody, and yet not able to do so at this point. As you mentioned, they are interviewing people who were involved here, interviewing the victims, and they're getting differing descriptions of the same suspect. So that, of course, makes the job for police more difficult. 10 different people, in addition to the 10 that were killed, 10 more were injured. They've been taken to different area hospitals, with officials saying they're everything from stable condition to some in very critical condition. And I can tell you there's an edge here in the community, no question about it, because this suspect is still out there, and it is not known, the police saying it's not known what the motive is. Is it tied to the Chinese Lunar New Year celebration that was happening there? Is it some sort of a hate crime, or is it just this man went in without that particular motive? They're not saying. They're not saying, but it's certainly on people's minds here in this community, a predominantly a Chinese community here, Chinese-American community, certainly something people are going to be afraid of going through the day today until at least the suspect is caught.
All right, Matt Rivers, thank you. And just to recap, there is an active manhunt right now for the man who shot and killed 10 people overnight at a ballroom dance studio in Southern California in Monterey Park, just about 10 miles east of Los Angeles. 10 others, we've learned, were injured in the shooting. And this, of course, happening last night on the eve of Lunar New Year. Still very little detail on the suspect other than the fact that he is being described as an Asian male. Law enforcement again saying that they're getting different descriptions from all of those witnesses who were there last night, but they say that they will be using every resource available as they search for this suspect, and they are still investigating, they say, whether this could be connected to Lunar New Year celebrations, which will be ongoing around the country, of course, and we will be staying on top of this story all day long. You can stay with ABC News and abcnews.com for continuous updates. The entire team will be back this evening for World News Tonight. In the meantime, I'm Janae Norman here in New York.
This has been a special report from ABC News.